Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. Today we have a few things to talk about. First, the new 5G Wi-Fi that will be coming soon. And this is just absolutely terrifying stuff, guys. It's honestly a global epidemic, and we'll get more into that. But ultimately, if you haven't even heard of it, but the plan for 5G is to connect the human mind to artificial intelligence. So basically, nobody will be able to think beyond the system that already rules our lives. And everybody needs to be aware of the inescapable horror that comes before us. They want to monitor everything. Every movement will be tracked. Every thought will be collected. And obviously, that's clearly already happening through Facebook. They spy on you through your camera, microphone. You know, it's no secret already, but so does Google. Even through a hidden spy microphone that Google only just admitted that they forgot to tell users about. I mean, like, how surprising, a hidden spy microphone that Google forget to tell users about. It's kind of like The Simpsons, when the house is constantly watching them. And but we'll get more into that later. It's very crucial stuff, and I hope everyone takes this seriously. The stuff that we talk about, take it seriously, and always think freely. That's what's most important. But I wanted to get back into that 5G. I know you don't have too much, you haven't researched that too much.
No, I haven't. I've just read just a tiny amount about it, and apparently it could have some negative implications.
Yeah, absolutely horrifying stuff. I like to compare it with the China's new social credit system that they want to use by 2020, where every citizen will have a social credit score that goes up or down based on their personal behaviour, and low-ranked citizens will be punished from taking buses or trains, for an example, just by having a low social credit score. So when you compare that to the, even like filling up a car with petrol, will be restricted. And of course, criticizing the government is a crime. And, with this overwhelming influence creeping in, like, it's not so much different from the 5G, which is coming too. But, they basically call the 5G is a military grade technology. So this stuff can change people's emotions and put voices and visions in their heads. This gives them the ability to track people in free time. And this is the stuff tested in wars, so they know how it works. And the radiation waves from antennas that will ultimately affect and poison livestock and vegetables. So we're going into the futuristic system, the Orwellian nightmare, basically, where everything will be digital, all information will be digital, and they're open about this. They brag about this. If you looked at the World Economic Forum, which is I think it was 2018 or 2019, the latest World Economic Forum meeting, they discuss globalization, globalized economy, artificial intelligence, technology that can read people's minds. They discuss this openly, trying to push this Orwellian nightmare. It's scary stuff, and yeah. What's your take on that?
On the 5G network, well, to be, naive and overly optimistic, I'm hoping that 5G is just an incredibly fast Wi-Fi internet system, and it doesn't have all of these disastrous effects. But I'm afraid I'm a bit more cynical and a bit more jaded and a bit more conspiratorial about these matters. I mean, there's already mountains of evidence about sound weapons and how sound can be used to manipulate large crowds and turn them nauseous or make them feel sick or give them some case of diarrhea or something like that. I've heard cases where they just disperse from the crowd. The crowd is always something every ruler is has feared, and so I think this could be, another weapon in their arsenal in the globalists, agenda for these sorts of things.
It's definitely not a program I want to give to my children.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of an effort by certain groups in the globalists, amongst the globalists, certain groups in the globalists that have a real gripe with nature.
Yeah.
And with the grand creator or creators of this planet. Yeah. And I think, like, of Earth, and they like to pretend that they can manipulate the weather or nature or the environment to almost as a FU to God or the gods. And if what you say is correct about 5G and its effects on not only the human mind but the environment and our capacity to produce, or maintain clean water and food production. This has far-reaching and devastating consequences, and I think if you're a citizen, you should exercise your civics and find out about this sort of stuff and lobby your local representatives and ask them questions about it and try to get some answers.
Yeah, it's like one of those futuristic movies when there's a futuristic movie I saw as an example where the vampires kind of take over and then human blood becomes, an important resource for everyone. It's kind of like that. If they pollute all the food through this high radiation kind of poison, then ultimately people will be dependent on whatever the government gives,
Yeah, indeed. Indeed, it's problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah.
Where the government creates a problem, or like the I shouldn't say the government. More accurately, you'd have to say like the fascists, and I want to give the proper definition here of fascism is by like the man who invented fascism, Mussolini in Italy in the early 20s, I think 1923, coined his definition of fascism, like the Italian fascist, was the merger of state and corporate power. And the state can't do these things alone, and the corporate can't do this alone. But when they merge, they become this what Mussolini called fascists. And that's what everyone needs to worry about is the fascists. And we should be doing our best to be active citizens and research and learn as much about these sorts of things like the 5G network as possible before we allow its implementation.
Yeah. Or just getting rid of the phone in general, That's another one.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I watched this this interview a few years ago. It was like just late line business on the Australians Broadcasting Communism Network, the ABC.
Yeah.
And and it was they're interviewing this English, City of London economist, banker, globalist fuckwit, who basically gave advice to, or what should we do about, this. And his advice was buy this economist in London, in the City of London. His advice was buy yourself a small farm and a shotgun.
Yeah.
This was his advice to the average person, or out there, is to buy yourself a small farm and a shotgun. And I think it's absolutely correct. I mean, if you find yourself a few acres somewhere in regional Australia and rural Australia,